Test. 1, 2, 3.
Test.
Oh, we're good.
I am.
It was Caleb and Jake.
Coming at you from Acropolis Games with a deck tech on Counters Company.
A version Caleb does not like.
I'm not the biggest fan of this version of Upside Company, but
We're gonna walk through how this deck works, the land base and the sideboard, and then Caleb's gonna talk about why he thinks the other one's better, and he'll be wrong. So the deck revolves around a 2-card combo, including Devoted Druid, tap for green mana, put a -1 counter to untap it, Vizier of Remedies, that says if a -1 counter be put on a creature, put 1 less. Therefore, when you have both of them on the battlefield at the same time, it's infinite mana.
green mana.
Infinite green mana. What do you do with infinite green mana? Well, the 2 win cons is either Ronus, the Indomitable, to give target creature infinite power and trample, or Walking Ballista, just to make it shoot them for the game. Infinite counters and win. Counters Company is traditionally, you know, a toolbox deck with many creatures and many ways to get them. We got Collected Company, one of the probably objectively strongest cards in Modern.
I mean,
it's really strong. It depends on what you get.
It's in the decks that it's played in. It's almost all of the creatures.
It's always terrifying to see as an opponent.
Yeah.
When someone plays Collected Company, you're like, great. What's coming? We got Court of Calling, which allows you to go search for, whatever creature you want. So, and then we have Duskwatch Recruiter, that with the infinite green mana, you can basically look for either win condition. So the goal is to get the 2 as fast as possible, then either Court of Calling, Collected Company, for a Duskwatch Recruiter, search for Ronus or Walking Ballista, and win the game. Now this comes with a traditional combo as well, back from the old Absent Company deck, Absent Toolbox, where you have Kitchen Finks that has Persist, but if you have Vizier out, it doesn't come back with a -1 counter on it. And then Viscera Seer, where you sack a creature, scry 1. So if you have Viscera Seer and Vizier Remedies, you sack Kitchen Finks over and over again to gain infinite amount of life and scry infinite amount of times. A backup to Vizier Remedies for the infinite life combo is Anafenza. Although all the combo pieces aside, you have a little bit of other cards that help. You have Birds of Paradise, to mana ramp. Scavenging Ooze have a little bit of answers to your opponents. There's a lot of graveyard.
Snapcaster Mage.
Snapcaster Mage. Grizzlebrand, Storm, Reanimator, Dredge, the Mirror, because with Kitchen Finks you can just exile it in response to Persist. So it's just a good one-of to have if you need it. Eternal Witness, pretty obvious, just bring back something you need. Fiend Hunter as your main board only piece of removal. Search it when you need it. Spellskite to protect your combo. And Renegade Rallier as kind of a pseudo E-Witness. A pseudo E-Witness in its own way, where you can crack a fetch land and bring back Devoted Druid or Vizier Remedies. And that's basically the main board. It can win as fast as turn 3. I've done it many times. It's pretty resilient on its own. We're going to go through the land base next to show you how it works. So first we'll go through the fetches. This deck plays a lot of fetches. 3 Verdant Catacombs, 3 Marsh Flats, and 4 Windswept Teeth. Being a combo deck, you don't really need that many lands, so it's best to thin it out as quick as possible, especially with Renegade Rallier. Having a land to be able to trigger Revolt. The shocks that you can fetch for: 3 Temple Gardens, green and white's the most important. 1 Overgrown Tomb, 1 Godless Shrine, just for that Viscera Seer and sideboard. And then your utility lands: Horizon Canopy, mana fixing / draw a card when you need it. Ghost Quarter. It's always nice nowadays in the current meta to have a I hate land because of Eldrazi and Tron and man lands and
The mirror even.
the mirror. Yeah.
To take out their ghost.
For this card, Gavany Township, because this card, if you get rid of the combo, this card is a win con in its own way. You just have 8 mana dorks out there and just keep pumping them up. It's going to get carried away pretty fast. One of each basic, you know, for Ghost Quarter and Path, just in case you need it. The land is pretty consistent. The worst hand you can keep is probably one with not enough green mana. So if you have like 1 green mana, then Swamp and Godless Shrine, it can kind of suck because the deck relies a lot on green mana with like Court of Calling and
Court is a big one, and just playing 2 green spells in 1 turn.
yeah. Most of your deck is green. Now we'll go through the sideboard. 2 Voice Resurgence for you know, control, removal. Essentially, people don't like seeing this card when they're playing control.
Yeah, because you have the 2-for-1 yourself, essentially.
Yeah, it can just get really irritating really fast. It's another way to just like kind of hedge the game in your direction when you don't have to rely too heavily on your combo.
Yeah, and even if they're trying to stop your combo on your turn, at least you're getting something from it.
Selfless Spirit, protection from wrath effects. So if you're playing like Anger of the Gods, Wrath of God, Damnation, any decks that run that, you bring this in and you can chord for it when you need to. 3 Path to Exile for obviously the most irritating over-the-top decks like Eldrazi,
Any Goyf
decks, Death Shadow decks. On Grixis Death Shadow, this probably comes in because you got Tasker and Grimlock Angler, which is really hard to...
And the mirror. The mirror you'd bring in.
Yeah, you want to exile those Kitchen Finks. Kataki War's Wage for obvious like Lantern Control and Infinity and any artifact-based deck. Orzhov Pontiff for those mana dork decks, token decks. Goblins. This is just a really good one-up to have and for those aggro-y fast beater decks.
I've even had giving myself +1/+1 for the win was a thing.
Yeah, when you're on the beatdown objective and you just want a little bit more. Pride Mage. I choose this over Rex Sage just because I can bring it in early and wait.
And as Exalted, so the beat plan.
Exalted has a better beat plan. This kills Blood Moon,
And
which hurts the deck.
It's colorless when
And
you
Snaring Bridge.
when you blow it up as well. So
Yeah, this is pretty much any deck that has irritating enchantments and artifacts. Tide Hauler Scholar. This basically only comes in against combo, Ad Nauseam, Storm, stuff like that doesn't play a lot of removal. You don't want to bring this in against a combo or control deck because they basically just can get rid of it. And then Abrupt Decay, another answer for those annoying enchantments and artifacts, or maybe even a little bit more removal for combo. This is probably good against the mirror, just in case you don't have a lot of interaction in the main board. So if you're playing the mirror, you want to be able to, you know, kill their Devoted Druid or Viscera Seer or Vizier Remedies before they can go off, especially if you're on the draw. So that's the deck. It's the deck, that's the sideboard, it's the land base. The only difference between the old deck and the new deck is the new deck runs the Devoted Druid Vizier combo to try to Walking Ballista, where the old deck just relied on the sack outlet, where you had like Melira or Vizier Remedies and Kitchen Finks to get infinite life, and you scry Murderous Redcap to the top, which is which you go infinite life that turn, and then the very next turn you
go infinite damage.
You go infinite damage if they didn't remove any of your pieces. The reason I like this better is because it wins faster, but it's a little bit less resilient, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel like it is less resilient for sure. And
you're running a pretty much a less mana efficient mana dork, Devoted Druid over Noble Hierarch, which a lot of decks still play nobles. I don't like running more than 8 mana dorks.
Yeah, I mean, well, when 1 is your combo piece, I don't think it's a bad idea to run more than 8, just because they're obviously going to take out Devoted Druid as soon as they see it. So they might not take out your Noble Hierarch or whatever.
Right, which is true. I've seen a lot of decks run 4 birds, 4 Devoted Druids, and 3 nobles.
And sometimes you can get away with, if you turn 1 a noble, they'll be like, bolt it.
And then turn 2 druid.
Then it stays alive because they just use their bolt on something else.
Yeah, and then you win turn 3.
Yeah.
If you can land a Devoted Druid turn 2, on turn 3, you can either have a Vizier come down and immediately get infinite mana, but if you don't have the Vizier in hand, you can have your Quarter Calling, which you can actually tap for 5 mana on turn 3, where you have your 3 lands, tap this for 4, untap, put a negative counter on it, tap for 5, and go get Vizier that way and have infinite mana. So you pretty much have 8 cards. As long as your Devoted Druid lives, you have 8 cards that could give you infinite mana on turn 3.
I think this deck is better in a like a more combo oriented
Meta.
instead of like a control meta.
Yeah, right now, the main meta consists of either aggro or control, removal, kind of. You see the only combo decks really are this Ad Nauseam and Storm as the main combo
going
decks.
down a lot. Ad Nauseam has 2. They're both going down in popularity a lot because they just can't. They can't be aggro decks.
And they also can't beat like Death Shadow decks, which has an insane amount of removal.
Yeah, and hand hate. So they have hand hate plus like Stubborn Denial, and they just can't win through it because
Grixis Death Shadow has actually been very oppressive for combo decks, and it being the #1 deck, you're gonna see a lot of combo decks less. But this one has Kitchen Finks, which is really good against that deck.
Against Grixis.
So that's why I think this is the combo deck that's been seeing more play, because it's a little bit more resilient than the
I feel like the
glass box combo decks like Storm, where you go all in.
Oh yeah.
Ad Nauseam's like all in. No interaction.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to ask why run Ronus. This is basically for Leyline of what is it?
Sanctity.
Leyline of Sanctity, where you can't target them with Walking Ballista.
I think Ronus is a bad creature in general.
I run this in the main is also because you can Coco, a collected company, and get it, and it's just a really good creature. Like it can turn on all your other creatures to turn himself on.
Like having a 5/5 Death Touch indestructible is like it blocks everything that they have.
Yeah, and it lives.
And lives always. So you can block their Thought Knot, draw your card. You can block their Reality Smasher, not take any damage from it.
Yeah, the longer the game goes, the better this deck is. So if I can stall an aggro deck just a little bit with like Kitchen Finks or Ronus or something.
Kitchen Finks is your best.
Kitchen Finks is definitely for sure the best. So that's the deck. Let us know what other decks you'd like to see. Probably next time do Grixis Death Shadow, since Caleb here has that. We're probably gonna soon be able to play these online and then show you how they run. Maybe even in paper. Reminder: FNM every Friday night is Modern at 6:30. You can come check us out then. Once a month we do a win-a-box, which is only $10 entry, and the first place goes home with a box of a standard set. Anything else?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. We need to find an exit.
We need an intro and an exit.